Chapter 18. It's managing human resources in small and entrepreneurial firms. So basically, we're going to be talking about how to actually manage your employees in small and hopefully when you're going to have your own organization, your own company. As an entrepreneur, you're going to actually have to go in and make sure that you're managing your employees. Okay, so chapter 18. So the learning outcomes are explain why HRM is important to small businesses and how small business HRM is different from large businesses. Give 4 examples of how entrepreneurs can use internet and government tools to support HR effort. List 5 ways entrepreneurs can use their small size to improve their HR processes. Discuss how you would choose and deal with a professional employee organization. And then describe how you can create a startup human resource system for a small business. Before we get started, I'd like you to watch this video, the reasons why even a startup company needs HR. It's 2 minutes and 44 seconds. It's not very long. So I'm going to put the link into the chat for you. And what I'd like you to do is I would like you to watch it right now, and I will watch it with you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video, and it did have some good reasons on why a startup company does need to have an HR department. And basically from personal experiences, when we started our computer consulting firm back in Canada years and years ago, my husband and I started as 2 people, and then we grew to about a 10-person company. And we ended up having to actually get someone who could come in part-time and be our HR director. Only because it took more time as we grew. There was more paperwork that had to be done. And it also allowed people to go in and be able to talk to the HR person if they couldn't come to speak to us, if there was an issue. And like I had mentioned in this video, is the HR person will know exactly how many vacation days you have, what are your benefits. You can always talk to the HR people about getting either more benefits or life insurance or whatever it is. So it's always good to have HR. And nowadays there are so many packages, software packages, that a startup company can actually purchase to help them out with all of their HR needs. Okay, so let's continue. So with the first learning objective, explain why HRM is important to small businesses. And why do they differ? Well, the biggest thing is that small businesses grow. I mean, there's nothing small about it. There are many small businesses in the world, and probably in your own city, in your own country. And basically all of the businesses that are large right now started off small too. How small businesses HR is different, definitely by size. Usually, if you are a very small firm, you're looking between 1 person, 2 people, up to about maybe 25 people, maybe 50 people. That's still very small. But again, priorities, depending upon what your department or the HR person that you want them to actually do. Informality, basically, as running your own business, everything is going to be informal. There's not going to be a lot of things that are going to be put in stone or written down. So again, that is very different, because in HR, in a lot of the large companies, you would have all the policies and procedures written out. So that's something that HR would have to do in a smaller company. As an entrepreneur, again, HR for yourself, HR for your employees. So it starts off being very basic, but again, the entrepreneur started in the business so that he could make money or she could make money, and they've got ideas that they don't need to bog themselves down when it comes down to HRM. Implications, again, legal risk. You definitely need somebody who understands all of the laws and regulations in the country. And like in Canada, you have provinces, and each province has different legal policies and procedures. Paperwork is consuming. So again, you need to make sure that you have that under control. And slow decisions overwhelm managers. So again, you need to go in and actually try to get somebody who can actually help out with the managing of your employees. Why HRM is important to small businesses? Definitely for positive performance. If your employees know that there's an HR department, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable being able to go in and talk about the vacation days or sick days, anything that they need to, and also keeping in getting customers. And how does HRM work with that? Again, like we've mentioned throughout the course, is that HR has to be part of the strategic planning, because HR is going to help you, or the managers, basically hire employees that are going to help you out to get and keep your customers. Okay, so we're going to give some examples of how entrepreneurs can use internet and government tools to support the HR effort. So again, this is something that you would have to look into in your own country. There are government tools that comply with employment laws, and also that can help out small businesses. Employment planning and recruiting. One of the other things that you can actually get on the internet is web-based recruiting. Everybody knows LinkedIn. There's a large company called Indeed that does a lot of hiring, or where people can actually put job postings up and people can actually go in and sort of apply for those jobs. So again, you can use the internet and the tools that are available to you to help out with your HR. Small business employment selection. As a small business, remember that there are personality tests that are out there that you can actually test your employees or candidates before you hire them. Don't forget the obvious, which means that sometimes it might be easy enough, instead of going onto the internet and posting a job, you might just put something in the window of your store or your place of work saying that you need to hire a salesperson or a programmer or whatever. Also, don't remember that you can also do it by just contacts, people that you know. Maybe there's somebody out there that needs a job and then they could actually refer them to you. Keep it local and in the industry. Again, try to hire people that are in your area, unless there is a specific skill that you're looking for and you've exhausted all of the people that could actually work for you, and then you can actually bring in somebody from outside. There are tests online that you can have, the people do. And also, basically, to be able to test them, you can give them a scenario to do and then find out what would they do in that particular scenario. Pull your contacts, like I've mentioned before, is that going in because you have a lot of contacts in the industry. Maybe they know of people who would like to work. Also send a recording. What you could do is actually have candidates send a recording of why maybe they want to work for your company. So this way you get to pre-screen them before you actually have an interview with them. Employment training. As a small business, sometimes it's very hard to make sure and compete like with Google or any of the other large companies where they have a lot of training. So you might want to end up getting private vendors to help you out. Small business associations or administration that are available in your local area might be able to help with some of the training. And this referral to the National Association of Manufacturers, this is an association in the United States, and they offer training for anyone for different parts of the manufacturing industry. So again, there's a lot of employee training that is out there. One of the other ones that is quite free is LinkedIn has a lot of training that you could actually go in, check it out, find out which ones you would like your employees to do, and then have your employees do it. Employment appraisal and compensation online tools. Like I've mentioned before, there are a lot of HR tools out there now that are easy to access. They're computerized, and there's a lot of services that you can actually do where there's appraisals and compensation services. Oracle and Halogen are two companies that actually have performance management systems that you can actually purchase for your companies. Salary.com is a website that actually, if you want to know what the local pay rates are in your local area, you can actually just type in what area you are in, what job you were looking for the pay rates, and it would give you the pay rates for that particular area. So now we're going to take a look at ways entrepreneurs can use their small size to improve the HR processes. Leveraging small sorry about that. Let's just go back. Leveraging small size with familiarity, flexibility, fairness, and informality. So as a small business, you're going to have more personal familiarity. Basically, everyone in the company is going to know what is going on because it's very small. Being much more flexible when you are in a small business because you know everyone, and then everyone basically wants to make sure that their employees are happy, so you'd be a lot more flexible. Definitely informal. A lot of informal training goes on. A lot of times the workplace is informal. You may not have to come in suits and ties. You can come in, casually dressed because it's smaller in size. And just remember simple, informal employee selection procedures. So when you are selecting an employee, keep it simple because again, you don't want to overwhelm them because you're not a very large company. So when we were hiring for our computer consulting firm, we usually only had, my husband would go in and he worked at it at full time. So he would actually go in and hire the people. Now, when you go into a larger corporation, like when I went for an interview at the college, I walked into a panel of 4 people because, again, it's a larger organization. I would have to work with many different departments. So all the managers had something that they wanted to find out if I could do or not. So again, very simple, informal selection procedures. Flexibility in training as a small company. What the training will do for your bottom line, again, you want to keep your employees. And if you keep your employees, you're going to need to train them. Usually all of the training that takes place, 70% of it is informal. And basically what that means is that you're not going into a classroom, you're not pulling somebody aside and having a formal presentation with them. It would be on the job type of training. Somebody needs to understand how to work a particular computer system. You would end up going in, if you knew how to do it, train them on the spot, very informal. They take notes, whatever it is, and then they would practice. So again, flexibility in training. Encouraging informal training. Again, informal learning occurs when employees have something they need to learn. Like I've mentioned, if they need to learn a new software package, if they need to learn a new procedure, that gives them something that they need to do. So they're going to have informal training. They're motivated to learn it and are given the opportunity to learn. So again, remember, encourage informal training. You want your employees to be happy. You want your employees to learn. You have to go in and you have to give them that time and space to be able to do that. Flexibility in benefits and rewards. So one of the big things when you're working for a small organization, there's more flexibility. Basically, because there's going to be more, the employees are going to be able to trust each other, and you're going to create that trust as an entrepreneur with your employees because you're going to keep them in the loop with company news, with finances, and you're going to find that as long as they know what's going on in the company, they feel that they are trusted with this information, they're going to become a lot more loyal, and they're going to actually be able to then go in and actually help out the company. And one of the other biggest things is that people and employees do want to, provide feedback on performance. They want you to provide them with feedback. They want to know if they're doing well, if you're in a small sort of company. Next learning objective, discuss how you would choose and deal with professional employee organizations. What we mean by that is that there are some organizations that you can outsource some of your human resource functions. Okay, there is something called a professional employer organization that is in the United States. So this particular organization you would pay benefits to, and then you would be able to have insurance and benefits, legal risk, slow down company decision-making. So again, these companies are able to go in and sort of help you out with any of your HR functions that you need. Human resource outsourcers. So again, you would outsource to them. And there's also employee staff leasing firms. So what that basically means is that you may only need a particular employee for a specific amount of time. So you would go to maybe a staffing firm where they would just allow you to sort of lease out or have that employee for maybe 4 months or 5 months. When I started working for General Motors, I was through a temp company. So instead of hiring me full-time at General Motors, they would hire me through this temp company, though I had all the benefits and everything of working with General Motors. I was not a full-time employee by them. Once I'd proven myself and a position came up that I could apply for, I applied, got it, and then I was hired full-time. So again, these are leasing firms. TopTal, I believe, is one of the companies now on the internet that basically is sort of a leasing firm, and they do it all over the world. So if you have a specific skill that you want to be able to go out and sort of help other companies, so to be a freelancer, that's basically what these companies can help you with. So describe how you would create a startup human resource system for a small new company. So again, as you probably know, when you are hired, there's lots of procedures and policies and paperwork that the HR department has to do. So even if you take a look at and consider a 5-person retail shop, there is a lot of paperwork that has to be done. These are 5 different people with 5 different salary ranges, 5 different job descriptions. All of this has to be basically taken care of. Through Canada, when we were working in Canada, there was the, which one was the compensation amount that you had to take out, unemployment insurance you had to take out of somebody's pay, also CPP, which is your pension. So again, a lot of that has to be all done. So if you end up having a computerized HR system, all of this would be done for you. Some of the basic components of a manual HR system. So, new forms. So new employee comes in, you have the application, new employee checklist, employment interview, reference check, telephone reference report. All of these forms, all of these things have to be filled out before the new employee starts. And then you have the current employee forms, employee status change request, direct deposit acknowledgement, absence report, disciplinary notice. So again, there's a whole bunch of forms. And then employee separation forms, once a person has decided to leave the company. There's retirement checklist, termination checklist. There's many different forms that you would have to have, so the HR department has. So all of these tools would be able to help you out with it. Benefits of installing Human Resource Information System, HRIS. Basically, it saves you on time, because again, everything is automated, processed, facilitates online self-processing. What that means is that employees would have access to it, so they are able to go in and, update their home addresses or their telephone numbers or whatever, or they're able to go and see what their benefits are, how many sick days have they taken, how many do they have left, when is their vacation, when can they take vacation. So again, this is all being taken care of by the system that employees would have access to, so then HR wouldn't have to worry about it as much. Also, reporting capabilities. With a touch of a couple of buttons, you can get reports on, people's vacation. How many sick days has your department taken so far in the year? So again, a lot of it is improved, a lot faster information. HR system integration. Again, this is really great because this is one of the benefits. If you install it, then you can actually then end up putting it towards security. Security can have it where if somebody has to come in with a card key, they would have a card key that would then go into the HR system. So again, HR systems are very integrated. Some of the HRIS vendors are listed there. So automated data process, business information technology, and so on. So these are all companies that actually have HRIS software that you can actually purchase. That's it for chapter 18. So again, as was mentioned in the movie, as a new company, you may not need to have HR at the very, very beginning of it, because there might be just you and maybe your partner or someone. But as you are going to start growing, you need to sort of put into place your HR systems. And that is when you need to start looking at, what are you going to do? Do you purchase an HR computerized system? Do you outsource your HR? You basically have to make sure. And they were basically saying that there's a lot of tools and dashboards out there that help you out. It's not something that you have to create on your own. So again, try to make sure that you have an HR department or HR system in place as you're going to be growing your organization. Okay, I would like to thank you all for participating and attending all of the classes that we've had. I'm hoping that you have learned something from the course. It's been a pleasure having you, and it's actually been a pleasure presenting to you all the information that I've had and been able to gather together over my years of working locally and also abroad. Okay, I wish you all the best of luck in completing the project and also in your future endeavors, wherever they may take you.